getting paid for their likeness. Today we got good news though. We got a little bit more movement toward our ultimate goal, which is to get college players paid for their likeness and to get our NCAA football video games back. And no lie, 2019 has been groundbreaking from that standpoint. We had the Fair Pay for Play Act in Cali. Then you got up to 12 other states considering similar laws. In today's video, we're gonna cover the statement released today by the NCAA's working group. If y'all don't remember, earlier this year, the NCAA formed a working group to discuss potential compensation for players as far as likeness and their name and their image and all of that stuff goes. Also, the NFLPA is getting involved, man. There's a lot of stuff happening, bro. And then lastly, I want y'all to stick around to the end so we can discuss what could have been, in my view, the greatest college football game ever to be created. And it was actually in the early stages of development before it all fell apart. We're gonna talk about that along with everything else I just mentioned, all in this video right here. So click the like button, subscribe if you're brand new. Without further ado, y'all know what time it is, fellas. Cue the wing. Yeah, you'll never know quitter, 'cause I'ma go get her. Today we got the first release from the NCAA's working group that they put together earlier in the year. So the NCAA is finally starting the process of allowing student athletes to be compensated for their likeness. This morning, the NCAA's governing board voted unanimously to permit student athletes the opportunity to benefit from their name and likeness. Here's a quote from the NCAA. "We must embrace change to provide the best possible experience for college athletes. Additionally, flexibility in this area can and must continue to support college sports as a part of higher education. This modernization of the future is a natural extension of the numerous steps NCAA members have taken in recent years to improve support for student athletes, including full cost of attendance and guaranteed scholarships." Okay, that last part was just them kind of taking credit for this, but the truth of the matter is, they were pretty much pressured into this by California and everything else that's moving in this direction, and they did the smart thing by going ahead and stop fighting it, go ahead and get out in front of it. That way they can kind of set the rules of how this works, which is exactly what they've already begun to do as they offer some guidelines as to how this has to work going forward. They are as follows, check it out. "Assure student athletes are treated in a similar fashion to non-athlete students unless a compelling reason exists to differentiate. Maintain the priorities of education and the collegiate experience to provide opportunities for student athlete success. Ensure rules are transparent, focused, and enforceable, and facilitate a fair and balanced competition. Make clear the distinction between collegiate and professional opportunities. Make clear the compensation for athletics performance or participation is impermissible. Reaffirm the student athletes are students first and not employees of the university. Enhance principles of diversity, inclusion, and gender equality. Protect the recruiting environment and prohibit inducements to select, remain at, or transfer to a specific institution." They would then go on to say that the working group will continue to gather feedback through April on how best to respond to the state and federal legislative environment and to refine its recommendations on the principles and regulatory framework. The board asks each division to create any new rules beginning immediately, but no later than January 2021. So that's the time period we're looking at. Also, the NCAA did say that they're going to continue to gather information going forward through April 2020. So it appears that this is happening. All college athletes are going to be able to benefit from their likeness, but the details are still being worked out, and it's going to take at the very least a few more months for us to get all of that stuff ironed out. So this is crazy progress, bro. Amazing progress. We're moving forward with this. Again, gonna take a while longer, but this is, it's unprecedented. Like, the NCAA have actually voted to make a significant change, and it's damn near unbelievable, but here we are. Now, in addition to this, the NFL Players Association has gotten involved as well. And they're working with the National College Players Association to explore how college athletes from all sports can finally receive fair compensation for the use of their name, image, and likeness. Here's a statement. To date, college athletes group licensing and broadcast rights have been sold by schools, conferences, and the NCAA. These organizations take all revenues and profit derived off the athletes' work without even acknowledging that athletes deserve a fair share. Under this new partnership, the NFLPA and the NCPA will explore opportunities for merchandising, gaming, and other official licensing products. We will also review how recent developments impact television broadcast revenues in their pursuit of fairness. And this is all going to be done under an umbrella called Rep Worldwide. So this is huge as you're looking at an organization to represent the players that already has experience representing football players. Now, to be fair, the current system that the NFL has, it's got its flaws, just to keep it simple. So these cats not coming in as like saviors or anything like that, but you know, at least the players will have representation who hopefully will have the players' best interest at heart. Rep Worldwide went on to say that they want to offer all athletes the same caliber of service that NFL players have when companies want to partner with those athletes to market their likeness, image, and personalities. The NFLPA Executive Director, DeMaurice Smith, said that they are proud to partner with the NCPA to offer the service to students who are also athletes. For the first time, a legislator has indicated that these students have rights just like everybody else, and we support this continuing movement toward fairness. Now, obviously, this is business and everybody involved in this stands to make money, but that's how the world works and that's fair. But we're now talking about a partnership, and we have to look and we have to stay on top of this to see if the agreement that they come up with for the student athletes is actually fair, or if it's still unfair with the representatives taking the majority of the money or something like that. So we don't really know how that's gonna play out, but do the student athletes need representatives? Absolutely. So there we go. We're still likely a few years away from all of this stuff happening, but we got this quote from EA, so check it out. EA CEO Andrew Wilson said, "We would jump for the opportunity to get back in the college game business, as long as the NCAA can determine how to compensate players for using their digital likeness in video games." Now, this is good news, but I'll keep it a buck. Anytime EA CEO Andrew Wilson is excited about something, I get nervous. Now, if you don't follow the gaming industry outside of sports, EA is pretty notorious for over monetizing games like Star Wars Battlefront or Anthem, two games where core functionalities were ignored, but they was jam-packed with ways for EA to get more bread outside of the $60 that the game already costs. This is something that scares me when it comes to NCAA. On the sports side of it, I don't play FIFA, but from a Madden standpoint, we all know that for years, every single bit of resources and focus all went into Ultimate Team on Madden. It's cool to pay attention to Ultimate Team, and I understand that brings in constant money, but everybody else who wants to play franchise mode, who pays $60 for the game, there's core features that we used to have in the same Madden franchise on lesser consoles that are still not on the newest console, which is crazy to think about. And I just really hope that something like that does not happen with NCAA. They were just kind of getting the Ultimate Team thing rolling when NCAA 14 was out. It is in that game. Some people don't really know that, but yeah, it's there. Ultimate Team is there, and that's cool. That's perfectly fine, but I need my Dynasty mode at least as fleshed out as it was on 360, and I need my RTG to take a couple steps forward. Now, I'm way ahead of myself. We just need to get the game back first. But when I hear that, though, that's the first thing I start to think about is, okay, if they're going to make the game, they're really excited, are they going to, please, just do it right, man. Just do it right, please. Now, everybody, including myself, when I saw Kirk Herbstreit over on Twitter reaching out to EA, he ready to get it going, you know what I'm saying? Everybody ready to move. But again, it's likely going to take a while to get the specifics, and therefore, it could take an even longer while to get a new NCAA game. With that said, EA had a phenomenal idea for a new college football game, and while now it seems like they will be able to get the licensing going and everything, which is great, I still want to tell y'all about this, and I definitely hope they keep some aspects from College Football 15. That's right, check it out. Polygon obtained a design document from the dying days of NCAA, almost like a diary, you know what I'm saying? Like a look inside of that office and what was going on. What the document shows is that the devs were desperately trying to save the game, and it came up with a pretty damn good idea. Check this out. They were gonna keep the same base game, but reorient around user-generated teams. They would have dropped the NCAA name completely and called it College Football 15. The document states that player and coach customizations would be deeper than any seen in any EA Sports title, up until that point at least. And it resembles the kind of user-generated content model that has distinguished the WWE 2K and the Pro Evolution Soccer franchises, which I've never played, by the way, but I assume they have a really deep customization, and this College Football 15 was gonna resemble that, but it goes way deeper. Check it out. According to the document, College Football 15 would have significantly expanded the web-based team builder application, which players were already using to create teams and rosters and download them to their consoles. The game's career modes would have intensified their focus on the single player experience with role-playing game features like personality traits and attribute perks, which would be added to creative players and coaches. Now, if you've been following me for any period of time, you know I've been begging for RPG-like content in our career mode. I'm not a huge fan of cutscenes unless you're gonna give me the old school cutscenes where my guy doesn't really talk. And the only reason that is because when they invest all that money in cutscenes, they want every player to see them. So what ends up happening is you get a predetermined story that's gonna lead everybody to have the exact same experience. That completely kills the replayability. And even what's even the point of playing if I know exactly what's gonna happen? You can watch one YouTube series and that's pretty much it. And I know they can bake in maybe 2 to 3 different outcomes or whatever, but if you get a true RPG system, there's like an endless amount of outcomes the way things could play out. So that I appreciate much more. They was literally gonna do it. It's crazy. It goes on though. Let's go. Developers were even looking to use the Xbox One's Kinect 2.0 to allow users to create custom player animations and poses, all of which could have been shared with other players. Bro, what that would have been the best utilization of the Xbox Kinect. Like, it was always useless in my opinion, everything I ever played. If they could have actually implemented that and it actually worked, that would have been the dopest use of the Kinect, period. And with custom animations and poses and all of that stuff is user generated, that just creates so much content. You see what I'm saying? Like an endless flow of content. But that's not it. In player creation, you could choose from any skill position and then go through a tryout. Then you'd progress through a skill tree that gave you on-field skills and attributes, as well as personality traits that gave you specific poses and emotes. Then the document goes on to say that each position would have several specialty types. So you'd have several different archetypes within each position. Now think about how much depth that is just right there. Then each specialty would have its own skill tree with 3 more different types of skill trees that fall under that. So it just continues to branch off. Those trees were gameplay, off the field, and teamwork, which improved the player's in-game skills, like making them faster or making them juke better, or his overall fitness, conditioning, stamina, faster progression, stuff like that. And then you could also get team-based buffs, which would give you better offensive line blocking, or maybe if you was a receiver, it'd help your quarterback's accuracy, or maybe if you was a quarterback, it would boost the wide receiver catching, or things like that. Depending on what position the player is, he will be able to unlock better versions of the abilities he can already do on the field and new ones. Each ability will have multiple levels, and each new level has a better animation than the previous skill level. It hurts that this didn't come out, man. Now we're almost done, but of course there would have been a drawback, and this is ultimately, I guess, why the game was never made, because unlike NCAA 14, College Football 15 would not have had the ability to roster share. All right, you wouldn't have been able to roster share on there, and that's just because, you know, they're fighting all the legal situations with that. That's why they had to change the name and do all of that. Because after the players were involuntarily dropped out, You know what I'm saying? Certain schools started to drop out too. I think they said the Big Ten dropped out first, and you know, they were starting to lose schools. So this whole game would have had to been built around generic teams and like a user created model, which is more what we're seeing today with the indie companies who are trying to develop games. So it looks like, according to this article, at least EA did have this idea, but it just never got off the ground. And they felt that if they blocked the ability to create real life teams, that the game wouldn't have been successful. And they could be right with that. I don't know. I mean, from a sales standpoint, obviously I would have loved to. I would still be playing this game. That's no cap at all. I would 100% still be playing this because I 100% still dabble with NCAA 14, but I've done almost everything there is to do in that game. This game is even deeper than NCAA 14, so this would give me something to continuously do. You know what I'm saying? Exploring all these different positions with all those different archetypes. And come on, bro, that's dope. That's dope as hell, man. But unfortunately, it never came to fruition, you know? Hopefully, if they do decide to bring college football back, man, I really hope they keep this idea, because I think that is, like, that's the game I want to play. Like, this I would cop. Like, that's it right there for me. Anyway, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know. Is this something y'all would have played, or would the lack of a roster share have been a deal breaker for you? My name is FlemLo Raps. I'm gonna let y'all next time, fellas. One.
Yeah, you'll never know quitter, 'cause I'ma go get her.